Stop planting by your zone map, do this instead for late snow. If you've ever planted according to your USDA hardiness zone only to have a late snowfall wipe out your seedlings, your zone map didn't fail you, you used it for the wrong purpose. That's one of the biggest misconceptions in gardening today. Hardiness zones tell you what perennial plants can survive during winter. They do not tell you when it's safe to plant vegetables in spring. Mixing up those two ideas leads to stunted plants, root damage, delayed harvests, and sometimes a complete crop failure. One of the habits that completely changed my spring planting success was measuring the soil instead of trusting dates or zone maps. I use a soil moisture meter that also measures soil temperature, moisture, and available light. It quickly tells me whether the ground is actually ready for planting instead of simply looking warm on the surface. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. It's one of those tools that prevents expensive mistakes before they happen. If you're serious about growing healthier vegetables, consider subscribing because we focus on practical gardening that works in real gardens, not just on paper. Your hardiness zone answers a different question. A Zone 6 garden and another Zone 6 garden can have completely different spring conditions. One may experience its last snowfall in early April while another gets a surprise storm in May. Yet both share the same hardiness zone because the system measures average winter minimum temperatures, not spring weather patterns. I've visited gardens less than 20 miles apart where one location was transplanting tomatoes while the other was still scraping frost off raised beds. That's why experienced gardeners rarely rely on the zone map alone. The soil decides when planting actually begins. Your seedlings care very little about what month it is. Roots respond to soil conditions. Tomatoes, peppers, squash, cucumbers, and beans establish much faster when soil temperatures consistently reach around 60 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Below that, roots slow dramatically, nutrient uptake drops, and diseases caused by cold, wet soil become much more common. One year I intentionally delayed planting tomatoes by just 9 days after an unexpected late snowstorm. My neighbors planted according to the calendar. Their tomatoes stayed purple, barely grew, and spent weeks recovering. Mine rooted quickly because they entered warm, active soil instead of cold ground. That small delay produced a much earlier harvest. Late snow isn't always the real danger. Many gardeners panic when they see snow in the forecast. Snow itself often causes less damage than what comes afterward. The real problem is frozen soil followed by cold nighttime temperatures that prevent root growth. Even if the snow melts by afternoon, the ground underneath may stay cold for several days. Planting immediately after a late snowfall often traps roots in inactive soil where they simply wait instead of growing. That's why experienced gardeners watch soil conditions for several days after snow disappears rather than rushing back outside. Your backyard creates its own weather. This is where gardening becomes far more interesting than any map can explain. A raised bed beside a brick wall stores daytime heat and releases it overnight. A garden protected from strong winds warms much faster than an exposed field. Dark mulch absorbs sunlight while heavy clay soil stays cold longer because it holds more water. These small differences create microclimates that completely change planting schedules. In my own garden, one raised bed consistently reaches planting temperatures nearly 2 weeks before another bed only 30 feet away because it receives uninterrupted afternoon sun. No hardiness map can predict that. Healthy roots are worth waiting for. One mistake I see every spring is gardeners trying to get ahead by planting early. They rarely get ahead. Plants sitting in cold soil aren't growing. They're surviving. Meanwhile, vegetables planted slightly later into warm, biologically active soil often catch up within a few weeks and eventually outperform the earlier transplants. Gardening rewards timing far more than impatience. Build flexibility into your planting schedule. Instead of planning one big planting day, prepare several possible windows. I often plant cool season crops first, wait for soil temperatures to stabilize, then move warm season vegetables into the garden gradually over 1 to 2 weeks. If another cold front appears, only a portion of the garden is exposed. This staggered approach has consistently produced better harvests than planting everything on the same weekend. Hydroponic growers understand this naturally. They create stable root zone conditions before introducing plants. Soil gardeners benefit from exactly the same principle. Your plants believe the soil, not the forecast. Weather apps, planting calendars, and hardiness zones all provide useful information. None of them can tell you exactly what's happening 6 inches below the surface in your own garden. The healthiest gardens I've grown weren't the ones planted earliest. They were the ones planted when soil biology, moisture, and temperature all lined up together. That's the planting timeline your vegetables actually care about. If you stop letting your hardiness zone make planting decisions and start listening to your soil instead, late snow becomes far less intimidating. You'll transplant with more confidence, lose fewer plants, and harvest stronger crops throughout the season. If this helped you rethink spring planting, subscribe to FarmLogic for more practical gardening techniques based on real growing conditions, not gardening myths. Share this video with another gardener who's still planning by the zone map alone. Understanding your soil is one of the best investments you can make in every future harvest.